I'll never forget the moment Lisa walked through the door that evening. Her face was aglow with that carefree, radiant smile. The same one she used to save just for me in the early days of our marriage. It sent a sharp pang through my gut. I knew exactly where she had been. More importantly, I knew who she had been with. She casually set her purse on the counter and began humming, oblivious to the storm brewing in the room. But then her gaze landed on the framed photo sitting at the center of the granite island, illuminated by the dim overhead light. The shift was immediate. Her smile vanished, replaced by a pale, ghostly expression. Her breath hitched, and she stumbled back a step, as if the image itself had the power to physically wound her. For a moment, I thought she might collapse. She gripped the edge of the counter, her knuckles turning white. I had printed the photo that morning, a glossy 5x7 image of her, unmistakable in that red dress. The one I had given her for our anniversary 2 years ago. She was laughing, head tilted back, while another man held her close, his hand resting on the small of her back in a way that was far too familiar, too intimate. The setting? A boutique hotel downtown. The same one Lisa had claimed was hosting a ladies-only spa retreat 3 weeks ago. I had hired a private investigator, and now, with the evidence laid out so clearly before me, her deception, the hidden life she had been leading, it all felt surreal. Snapshots, receipts, text messages, every piece fit together to paint an undeniable picture. The truth had stared back at me from my laptop screen night after night, daring me to confront it. And now, it was staring back at Lisa. Her voice trembled as she finally spoke. "W, what is this?" she stammered, barely above a whisper. Her wide, pleading eyes darted between the photo and me, silently searching for an explanation that would never come. "You tell me," I said, leaning back in my chair. My voice was too steady, too calm, the kind of calm that only comes before a storm. Her lip quivered, but she said nothing. She looked trapped, like a deer frozen in the headlights of an oncoming truck. I could see the gears in her mind spinning, scrambling for an excuse, a way out. But there was none. "How long?" I asked, my voice slicing through the tense silence like a blade. "Ethan, How long?" I repeated, sharper this time. She hesitated, then crumbled. 6 months, she whispered, barely audible. 6 months. Half a year of lies. Half a year of her laughter, her intimacy, her body being shared with someone else. A wave of fury surged through me, but I forced it down. Not yet. I stood up and walked to the counter, picking up the photo and holding it out to her. "Look at it again," I commanded. She hesitated before her tear-filled eyes settled on the image once more. "Him," I said, pointing to the man in the picture. "What's his name?" She swallowed hard, fresh tears welling in her eyes. "Mark," she murmured. I repeated the name, letting it settle on my tongue. "Mark, the guy you've been meeting in fancy hotels while telling me you're at book club. Mark, the man you've been sneaking around with while I was working late to pay for this house, your car, your entire life. That Mark." She broke down completely, covering her face with both hands as sobs racked her body. I didn't move. I couldn't. Her tears did nothing but fuel the fire burning inside me. "Ethan, I'm so sorry," she choked out between sobs. "I never meant for this to happen. It was a mistake." "Stop." My voice was sharp, slicing through her excuses like a knife. "A mistake is forgetting to buy milk from the store. Sleeping with another man for 6 months? That's not a mistake, Lisa." I held her gaze, my expression unyielding. "That's a choice, a repeated, deliberate betrayal." She stared at me, her tear-streaked face filled with regret, but I couldn't tell if she regretted her actions or if she simply regretted getting caught. "I can't lose you," she whispered, stepping closer. "I'll end things with him. I'll do anything to fix this. Please, Ethan, I love you." A hollow, bitter laugh escaped me before I could stop it. Even I was taken aback by the sound. "You love me?" I echoed, shaking my head. You don't betray someone you love, Lisa. You don't destroy their trust, rip their world apart, and then stand there claiming love. I turned away, unable to look at her any longer. Walking into the living room, I picked up a folder from the coffee table and handed it to her. Go ahead. Take a look. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside was everything. The photos, hotel receipts, timestamps, undeniable proof. As she flipped through the pages, her expression crumbled. Ethan, save it, I interrupted, my voice cold and final. You've said enough. For the past 3 weeks, I hadn't just uncovered the truth. I had prepared for this very moment. I had spoken to a lawyer, updated all account passwords, and even changed the locks. Everything was already set in motion. I want you out by tomorrow, I stated firmly. The divorce papers will be ready next week. Her breath caught in her throat. Divorce, she gasped. No, Ethan, please. We can fix this. We can go to counseling, start over. There is no starting over, Lisa. I cut in, my voice as cold as steel. You killed what was left of us the moment you let him into your life. She collapsed onto her knees, sobbing uncontrollably. But no amount of tears could undo the damage. They couldn't erase the image of her in that red dress, pressed against another man. They couldn't restore the trust she had shattered into a million irreparable pieces. I left her there, broken on the kitchen floor, and walked upstairs. Grabbing the suitcase I had packed earlier, I rolled it into the guest room. I refused to spend another night in the same bed as her. Sleep didn't come easily. My mind played a cruel montage of our life together. Our first meeting, our wedding, vacations, the future we had planned. And yet, it all felt like a lie now. How long had she been unhappy? How long had she been pretending? And why hadn't I seen it sooner? By morning, Lisa was gone. She had left a note on the counter, begging me to reconsider, but I didn't read past the first line. I didn't need to. Her actions had spoken louder than any words ever could. In the weeks that followed, I focused on rebuilding. I buried myself in work, reconnected with friends I had neglected, and started therapy. Slowly, I let go of the anger, the resentment, the pain, and in time, I found peace. Then one day, I received a message from Mark's wife. She had discovered the affair as well and wanted to meet over coffee. We shared our stories, our heartbreak, and our plans to move forward. It was unexpectedly therapeutic. We reminded each other that we deserved better and promised to support one another as we healed. Months later, I heard through mutual acquaintances that Lisa and Mark's relationship had crumbled. She had left the city, abandoning the wreckage of the life she had destroyed. I felt no satisfaction in hearing it, only a quiet sense of closure. She had made her choices and I had made mine. The photograph that started it all now sits in a box in my closet, a relic of a past I've left behind. It serves as a reminder of the lessons I've learned. To value honesty, to never settle for less than I deserve, and to always trust my instincts. And as for me, I'm doing okay. Actually, I'm doing better than okay. I've started dating again, cautiously optimistic about the future. For the first time in a long time, I feel free. Free to live, free to love, free to be happy. And that, I've realized, is the best revenge of all.